Good afternoon. Hope everybody is doing well today on this Monday afternoon. So, if you're watching live or on the replay, welcome. My name is Jewel Martin. I am the CEO and the instructor of Jumpstart with Jewel, where we assist adolescent and adult students with math, reading, social studies, science. So, we've been going over fractions for the past few weeks, and class starts tomorrow. So, if you have a student that is between the ages of 8 and 12, and you've been working on fractions, and that student needs some assistance, do not miss it. Class starts tomorrow. Becoming fantastic with fractions. Class begins tomorrow, the 24th, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We meet twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Of course, this Thursday is the holiday, so we won't be meeting on Thursday this week, but we'll get started tomorrow. Classes are offered through Zoom. There are 8 sessions in all, so each week we'll be covering a different topic covering fractions such as adding and subtracting, fractions with unlike denominators, mixed numbers, word problems, fractions as shapes, fractions as a group, and so much more. You can go to the website www.jumpstartwithjewel.com. Hello there on Periscope. How are you? It is good to see you. Sorry, I can't see your name. It's not showing up for me. Or it showed me your name, but then it disappeared. But welcome in. Thank you for coming in. And I encourage you to share this out. So we're just going to do a quick review of a topic that we've gone over before. And that topic is adding and subtracting fractions. Let me switch my screen with unlike denominators. There we go. Alrighty. Let me put that down. Alrighty. So if you've done fractions before, let me pull up my pen. And again, this is for an adult or an adolescent. If you're an adult and you're studying for a test, maybe you're going back to school and you have to take the entrance exam, or maybe you're studying to get into the military and you have to take the ASVAB test, or maybe you're just helping a child or someone else. It's good to know how to add and subtract fractions, especially when they have unlike denominators. If you know anything about fractions, you know that when you're adding or subtracting them, they have to have the denominator has to be the same. Move that cursor out the way. So for instance, let's say if I had the fraction of 1/3 plus 1/5. Okay. When the denominator is not the same, you have to find the least common denominator. That is known as the LCD. Gotta find the LCD. If you don't know the LCD, then you can't add or subtract your fraction. So the least common denominator, if you remember doing multiplications and the multiples of a number, the multiples are just the answers. When you multiply 2 numbers together, those numbers are called factors. And then the answer is known as the multiple. So if you remember counting by 3s, counting by 5s, we used to call it counting by back in the day. Now they call it skip counting. So for instance, the first thing you're going to do is look at your denominator. We've got a 3 and we've got a 5. So our goal here is to find the LCD, the least common denominator. You are going to have to know what the multiples of 3 are. So the multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. Let me move this over so I can have some space. And let me fix that 5 because it looks crazy. 15. Okay. So those are the multiples of 3. Now we have to list the multiples of 5, and we see what's going to be common. What do they have in common? So the multiples of 5 are, of course, 5, 10, and 15. And the multiples, you can either do like your skip counting by 5s, or you can do your timetables. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. It's always the answer. The multiple is the answer to the multiplication problem. So if you see what number they have in common, they have 15 in common. 15 is going to be the LCD. So what you have to do now, you have to you have to convert the denominator to 15 so that you can add these numbers together. So what you have to do is multiply them by the factor that will make it 15. So I've got 1/3 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. So 3, you do the denominator first. What number, when you multiply it times 3, will give you 5? That factor is 5. When you multiply, by 5, it gives you 15, So 3 times 15 equals 5. 3 times 5 equals 15. Goodness. So whatever you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. That's how fractions work. So if we're multiplying the denominator by 5, we're going to multiply the numerator by 5. Now we go to the next fraction. We have 1/5. What number, when you multiply it times 5, gives you 15? The answer is 3. And whatever you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. So since we have 5 times 3, we're going to have 1 times 3. Now we do our math, and we begin to write our new fractions. 1 times 5 is going to be 5. And then 3 times 5 is going to be 15. Bring down our plus sign. 1 times 3 is going to be 3. And then 5 times 3 is going to be 15. And then now all you have to do is add the numerators together. 5 plus 3 equals 8. And then the denominator stays the same, 15. So 1/3 plus 1/5 is going to be equal to 8/15. Okay? Let's do another one. Let's do subtraction. So same thing. Let me insert a blank page. Okay. So same thing. Let's say, let me erase this. Draw a little line. Let's separate that. So this next one is subtraction. 4/7 minus 1/3. So same thing. You have to find the LCD. What is the LCD of 7 and 3? If you know your multiplication facts, great. You'll know what the answer is. If not, you may have to list them. So just like we listed them with 3 and 5, you're going to have to list the multiples. So what are the multiples of 3? Remember, it's like skip counting by 3, or it's just knowing your facts. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. Then we have to list the factors of 7. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. So if you didn't know your facts, hey, Nikki, how you doing? It's good to see you. Your LCD is 21. So now you have to do the math. You have to multiply. You look at your denominators and you say, okay, what number, when I multiply it by a certain factor, is going to give me 21? So when you look at 4/7, 7 is in the denominator. What number do you multiply 7 by to make it 21? You multiply it by 3. Now, whatever you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. So since we're multiplying 7 by 3, we're also going to multiply 4 by 3. We go over here to the right to 1/3. We have a 3 in the denominator. Whatever you're multiplying by the 3, you're going to have to multiply that same factor by the 7. So what number, when you multiply it by 3, gives you 21? It is a 7. And so you're going to do the same thing with your numerator. Now, let's do the math. 4 times 3 is 12. And then 7 times 3 is 21. Bring down our subtraction. 1 times 7, 7. And 3 times 7 is 21. Then all you have to do is subtract, since we're doing subtraction. 12 minus 7 is 5. And then the denominator is going to be the same, 21. And so that is your answer, 5 over 21. Let me see. So let me do another page. Let me change my layout. Okay, let me do one more. Okay, let me make sure it's still on the screen. Give me one moment. There it is. Okay. I pulled up a new screen. Okay. So this one will be addition as well. Let's do another addition one. How about 2/6 plus 3/12? Okay. So, same thing here. You have to determine what is the LCD. Now, sometimes some fractions you'll see it where one of the denominators may already have the LCD. So you won't have to do any multiplication with that one, but you'll have to multiply with the other fraction. So what are the factors of 6? We've got a 6 and a 12 in the denominator. What are the multiples, of 6? You've got 6, 12, 18, and 24. What are the multiples of 12? 12, 24, and 36. So, what is the LCD? What is the lowest or the least common denominator? It is going to be 12. So, since this denominator is already 12, you don't have to do anything. You can leave it just like it is. But you're going to have to change this to 6. So, we've got a 6 here. What number do you multiply by 6 in order to make the LCD 12? You multiply it by 2. And the same thing as we did before. Whatever you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. 2 times 2, we're going to multiply by 2 as well. So let's rewrite our fraction. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 2 is 12. And then you're going to add that. We're just going to bring down to 3/12. 4 plus 3, 7. And 12 is the denominator. And that is the answer for that. So 2/6 plus 3/12 is equal to 7/12. And maybe I'll do one more. Let's erase this. Do one more. So this one is going to be subtraction. So just take your time. As long as you know your multiplication facts, you're good. Even if you don't know them by heart yet, you can still list the LCD, list the multiples, and that'll help you. So this last one is going to be 3/4 minus 2/5. Okay, so we've got a 4 and a 5 as the denominator. Now, if you don't know your multiplication facts, if you have to list the multiples again, that's fine. So what are the multiples of 4? 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. And what are the multiples of 5? 5 times 1 gives you 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. So, of course, our LCD is going to be 20. So now we have to convert these denominators to 20. So this first fraction over here on the left, 3/4, what number are we going to multiply this 4 by to make it 20? You have to multiply 4 times 5 in order to make it 20. Whatever you do to the denominator, you're going to do to the numerator. So 3 times 5. We multiply the denominator by 5. We're going to multiply the numerator by 5. Then we've got 2/5. So we have a 5 here in the denominator as a denominator. Whatever we have to multiply this 5 by, we got to do the same thing to the 2. So 5 times 4 equals 20. And then we're going to multiply the numerator by 4 as well. Here we go. Now let's go ahead and convert our fractions. So 3 times 5 is 15. And then 4 times 5 is 20. And then 2 times 4 is 8. And then 5 times 4 is 20. And now you just have to subtract. 15 minus 8 is going to be 7. And you're going to keep the denominator as 20. And that is it. So I hope that was helpful. And once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing this out. Okay. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email at jewel@jumpstartwithjewel, or you can go to the website www.jumpstartwithjewel.com. And again, don't forget, class start tomorrow. Becoming Fantastic with Fractions is for the students between the ages of 8 and 12. We start tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's not too late to sign up. For more information or to sign up, you can go to www.jumpstartwithjewel.com. Thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day. Bye-bye.